Sky's Gamal Fahnbulleh is in Claygate. And Gamal, are there any developments there this morning?
Well, a search team has now arrived at the family home here in Claygate. They've been here for about 15 minutes or so, and they are continuing that task of looking for any clues that can help their colleagues in France with this police investigation. Now, over the last few days, since the search of the family home began on Saturday, officers have been scouring the scene, looking for clues, anything that can help their colleagues in France with this inquiry.
First to Gamal in Malmesbury. There's a serious situation where you are.
That's right, Colin. Flood warnings are still in place for the River Avon after more than 2 inches of rain fell overnight. And over the last hour or so, there's been quite a lot of activity after the local council dropped dozens of sandbags outside a local pub not too far from where I'm standing now. We saw members of this community scurrying to get those sandbags and place them outside their homes ahead of the heavy rainfall that is expected this evening.
This is Sky News with Gamal Fahnbulleh.
A very good morning to you. The Prime Minister has revealed there was a shocking and unacceptable level of collusion between the state and loyalist terrorists who killed the solicitor Pat Finucane in 1989. He apologised to the family as a report into the killing was published. It showed employees of the state facilitated the killing and later deliberately obstructed legal inquiries. The victim's widow branded the report a whitewash. Sky's Islands correspondent David Blevins reports.
Imagine walking down the road knowing all too well that down the way it could be lined with improvised explosive devices. Well, this is the reality for these troops. Life at home is a world away from life in Afghanistan, and that's a reality these soldiers come to terms with quickly.
A routine patrol is searching for bombs.
Okay, go around it quickly. That'll do.
When suddenly it's attacked. The soldiers dive for cover, then exchange fire. The firefight is over as fast as it had begun.
Security at the base is the #1 priority, and the soldiers take turns at being on guard. This is a 24/7 job, and it doesn't stop just because the sun goes down. The men from London drove to Blackburn in search of the house of Mo Ibrahim. He lived at 135 London Road. The Mohammeds lived here at 175 London Road. A single digit was a difference between life and death. As the plan was put into action, the family slept upstairs, oblivious to the terror that lay ahead.
My next briefing will be at 6:30 here, 6:30 here.
Well, you heard from that police officer there in Clackamas in Oregon. He couldn't give too many details about what was going on. He did say that there were multiple witness accounts. He didn't have any information on the motives yet. He also was urging people to just be patient as well. Obviously, there would be a number of people who are extremely concerned about family members, loved ones. Phone connections are down because so many people are making phone calls trying to get through to those people.
Gamal Fahnbulleh joins us now from the scene in New Adlington. Gamal, I presume locals are still looking and there is a reward tonight.
Yeah, that's right. This evening, local residents have been searching wooded area not too far from where I'm standing here. And just to give you an idea of how this developing story is really striking a chord, the Sun newspaper is offering that £25,000 reward for information about Tia's whereabouts. Now, it is 4 days since she disappeared, and although we haven't had any official statements from the Metropolitan Police today, we do understand that they are trawling through hours of CCTV footage, including images from the Whitgift shopping centre.
Gamal, how are the crowds building?
The crowds are building, the deck chairs are slowly filling up, the big screen is up, the excitement, the anticipation is building. This tennis arena here in Clapham has been up and running since Wednesday, and just to give you an idea of how the fever has been mounting over the last few days, since this arena opened, some 8,000 people have come through the gates. And what this arena really does. It allows people, mums, dads, to bring their kids down to get involved in various tennis-related activities, from this swing ball area here where we have some potential stars of the future practicing, to this bouncy castle behind me. We know how important cardiovascular strength is to kids, to the game of tennis, so this allows them to get fit whilst having fun. 2,200 miles, that's the total distance travelled by this year's tour. That's the same as cycling from London to New York. 11 miles straight up, that's how much altitude the rides have gained, and all the categorised climbs in this year's Tour de France. That's the equivalent of twice the height of Mount Everest, and all that climbing burns energy, leading to each rider consuming on average 123,900 calories each during the 3-week race.
At the time of its construction, the Queensway Tunnel was a feat of British engineering rivaled by no other. Built without any of the technologies of today, built to connect Liverpool and Wirral. The tunnel was created to improve business and trade in the area. The ferries could cope with people, but it was much harder to transport livestock and wagons. And in the 1920s, the emergence of the car was all too apparent. Today, each day, more than 30,000 vehicles travel through the tunnel. Its importance cannot be underestimated.
Gamal Fahnbulleh is here with me now to discuss this. And what's happened in this first stage?
Well, when the GCSE results first came out, there were a lot of complaints from students and teachers that they had basically been treated unfairly because the grade boundaries had been raised midway through the year, which essentially meant that pupils who took exams in January in many cases did better than a lot of their peers who did the same set of exams in June. So there were a lot of complaints about that. The regulator Ofqual held an inquiry. Since then, that ruling has been upheld. There have been big changes in the makeup of the population of England and Wales. The latest census information suggests it's getting bigger and more diverse. There are now 56.1 million people. That's up 7% compared to 2001. And the way we live is changing. There's been an 84% rise in the number of people who are renting their homes. The number of Christians has fallen by 11%, down to 33.2 million. But the number of atheists has jumped by 83% since the last census in 2001. A lot of the differences are down to migration, with 2 million households now including members from mixed ethnic backgrounds. Sky's Mike McCarthy reports.